and my dear participants of 37th FDP. Let me take you back. 1893, World Parliament of Religions. A monk from Bengal went to Chicago and he started this way. Brothers and sisters of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome that you have given us. And there was a thunderous applause. A monk from India, from Bengal, traveling to distant land and speaking to people from different descent. With these few sentences, he was able to seize the crowd. He was able to attract the crowd. This is what is kinesthetic speaking. Generally, we have seen that whenever a speaker speaks, he tries to focus more on the content and delivery. But he fails to understand what are the emotions of the audience. See, emotions of the audience can better be understood if the speaker itself uses emotion as a trick to put forward his message across. So my topic is kinesthetic speaker putting action into words. Generally, there are three types of speakers: auditory speaker, visual speaker, and a kinesthetic speaker. When I say auditory speaker, he speaks more with languages. He uses less of gestures. Imagine a person standing behind a podium, holding the podium stiffly and speaking. It's a monologue. He doesn't try to relate to the audience. And after a certain point of time, say after 20 minutes, his speaking becomes very, very boring. He becomes uninteresting. So that is an auditory speaker. We need to overcome this. There is another kind of speaker who is known as visual speaker. A visual speaker is a person who communicates with gestures, facial expressions, smiles, eye contact, use of hands, and this way he tries to present a picture in front of the audience. So that is a visual speaker. Many a times a visual speaker places emphasis less on content and more on expressions. So that it becomes a disadvantage. And the very new type of speaker which we can imbibe in our teaching, in our presentation, is a kinesthetic speaker. When I say a kinesthetic speaker, he tries to step into the shoes of the audience. He tries to feel what the audience are feeling. He tries to think what the audiences are thinking. And at the same time, and let me underscore my word, my sentence, he makes effective use of spaces. There are so many spaces here. He'll not stand in one place and speak, but he'll make effective use of spaces and he will try to put his message to the audience. So kinesthetic speaking is the best form of speaking. Let me repeat my example of what Vivekananda. Brothers and sisters of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response. That's a beautiful way of starting. So these are three kinds of speakers. Generally, let me put my perception into this. What I have felt, when we speak from our own heart. We don't relate to the audience. So we need to understand what sort of audience it is. So these are the kinds of speakers. This is a beautiful quote by William Shakespeare, was given some way back 400 years ago. Suit the action to the word and the word to the action. This quote, it is relevant even today as it was 400 years ago. William Shakespeare. This is the correct meaning or definition of kinesthetic speaking. The ability of the speaker to capture the feelings and emotions of the audience through the awareness of their own presence by the use of gestures, postures, and movements. This is known as kinesthetic speaking. We can use it in our real life situations. Now there are merits of kinesthetic speaking. Let me, all these points, many of the points have been highlighted by the previous presenters. Let me place emphasis on something called water cooler cynicism. In office, when we have worked a lot, there comes a time we need to relax. Then we talk to our peers, our friends. We want to talk so that we can reduce our stress. So we try to cool ourselves. And there is something called cynicism. When I say cynicism, it means pessimism, it means negativism. So there are people in the audience who are always negative, they keep on talking if they don't understand. So if you are kinesthetic, if you are speaking to them with emotion, you are able to attract their attentions. Thanks a lot. Obama, I have 30 seconds. Hitler, the very passionate man, was able to seize the crowd with his gestures. Thank you.